Right, thank you very much for having me here to share a few ideas on a topic that's very close to my heart. I will just first introduce a little bit of who I am and where I come from and what I do, just to give you a little bit of context. My Hindi is not very good, but I will try a little bit going between Hindi and English, and if you ever want me to repeat something, please let me know. So thank you very much, Zainab, for that kind introduction. I am Teenaz, and I am the Director of Training. I'm just going to show you our training center. So this is our training facility, and I am the Director of Training at the Montessori Training and Research Trust. And what we do in the organization is that we train adults who want to be Montessori teachers. So we specialize in the work of Montessori training. And how did we get connected with Focus is because we are currently training about 6 of their teachers in the Montessori pedagogy, and they are slowly trying to bring in Montessori practices inside their classrooms and in their work with the children. And this is how the association has begun. So we run this training facility. Just a little background on who Montessori is. The picture you see is of Dr. Montessori, and what we are going to hear today is a lot of ideas that she came up with. And these are ideas that she came up with not because she thought this is how education should be, but these are ideas that she came up with from what she saw with children. So everything I'm going to talk to you today about is observable facts from children. These are what children showed her, and this is what she wrote about extensively. But the most fascinating thing about it is that though she has been there for over 100 years back, even today, when I talk to you about some of the things, it will resonate with you that you can see them even today in your classrooms, in your homes, in your work with the children. So the idea is not very old because it's connected to human beings, it's connected to human development. So it's very valid even today, what I'm going to talk and share with you about. So we are going to look at Montessori's thoughts and ideas. We can't be looking at everything that she does, so I've just taken a few very essential ideas that I think can be practically be put into practice at home if you are a parent, and in a classroom if you are a teacher. So I'm going to look at just a few things in the short time that we have together. This is just a few images of our training that we do. Now, before I begin, I want to ask you, and if you're a parent, please raise your hand. Okay. If you're a teacher, please raise your hand. Okay. All right. So let's just throw it out there. I've got a question for you. I'm simply asking you, what are your aspirations for children? Whether these are your own children at home, or whether these are children in your classrooms. What are your aspirations? What are your hopes? What do you hope for your children? Yes. Okay, when you say holistic development, what do you mean specifically? Can you just say one thing that you think is holistic?
It's not specifically very specific to one thing.
Okay.
There are so many other things.
Yeah, just whatever comes to your mind, name one thing. Whatever.
I think physically.
Say that again.
Physically, psychologically, emotionally.
Yes, those are lovely words, but just tell me one thing you want. I want my child to be confident, or just give me throw one thing out there. What's your aspiration? So you mean healthy? You want them to be healthy? Should we go like that? Physically, you want them to be healthy?
Yeah, physically healthy, mentally strong,
Okay.
emotionally strong.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Anyone else? Any aspirations? Yeah. Independent. Okay. So you want them to be independent?
Overall development of the child.
Yeah, that's lovely. Overall is fantastic. Just name one thing for me. Just give me one thing.
Emotional control.
Okay, you want them to be able to have control over emotions. Okay, so no massive outbursts, be able to control an emotion. Okay. Become a good human being, I think that's a very wide umbrella. Yes, okay, a good human being, sure. Sorry, did you say something? Okay, you want them to be socially, be able to exist with other people. Okay, fair.
serve their community the best.
Okay, so you want them to be able to give back to a community, yeah? Not just be selfish, give back. Right. Anyone else? What are your aspirations? Sorry?
Problem solving.
Okay, good. You want them to be able to solve a problem for themselves. Any other aspirations you have? You want them to be empathetic. Yeah, someone said that. Need to be emotionally strong. Look after themselves. Any other aspiration for children? Alright, so you mean like the world environment or any environment? Okay, so be able to be a conscious member in a space that they live. Any other aspirations you have?
Good communicator.
Alright, yes, that's important. You want them to be able to speak, communicate, have that confidence to do that.
Expressive.
Yeah, so there we go. Communicate, express yourself.
Be kind.
Be kind, yes. We want our children to grow up to be kind people, not people who are mean or cruel. We want that to happen.
Learn in their own space.
Right, so we want them to be lifelong learners, right? We want them to want to learn and to learn because they like it, not because someone said they have to do it. So we want them to be quite fond of learning in a way, love learning for themselves. Now it's quite interesting that you've all said these things. No one put their hand up and said, my aspiration is he must be a doctor. My aspiration is he must be a lawyer. You pretty much spoke about very deep qualities for children. You didn't name a profession. You actually spoke about something that makes them good human beings. So in many ways, whether you're a parent or a teacher, you are hoping that what you give your children, yes, ultimately lets them find a profession because they need to find a profession, it's important. But apart from the profession, you want them to be able to solve a problem, no matter what that problem may be, in wherever it may be. You want them to be kind, you want them to think about other people. So what you really talked about are things that make up a strong character. These are elements of a very strong character. And not strong character meaning you're stubborn, not in that way, but character meaning this is what you want children to grow up doing. So if children need to grow up doing that, then it becomes very important that the education that they receive embodies that. That's very important. And the home embodies that. Because these are the two spaces the children will thrive in. One is the home, where they will thrive in their home spaces with people they love. And the other space they will thrive is the classroom with the teachers. And that's another space where they can be themselves and thrive to be these people that we hope that they're going to be. And that's one reason why you're here today. You're here because you want to see how the school can work, the parents can work, and together we can make this possible. The aspirations that we have, how can we make it possible? I love this cartoon because it says a lot, and in many ways this is, let's say, parents on one side, school on one side. We need to have the same goal, and like we said just now, our aspiration needs to be the same things for our children. And if we are in opposing directions, we will not be able to achieve anything. And the one who is going to suffer the most is going to be the children. The children whom we love, the children for whom we go to school every day, the children for whom we are hoping they have a lovely future, our children will suffer if our home and our schools don't come together harmoniously. So it's very important as parents, we know what's happening in the school, and it's very important for us to know what is the ethos of the school. And it's not even important just to know the ethos of the school, it's very important to know, do I like the ethos as a parent? Am I comfortable with this? I'm going to put my child here. Do I like this? Do I like this teaching methodology? Do I like this philosophy? Do I like what the school is going to do for my children? Because if you don't like it, or if you don't trust it as a parent, it will come through. The children will pick up on this mistrust, the teacher will pick up on this mistrust, and the children will suffer in the middle. Because if we don't feel trusted, we can't feel safe. And when we can't feel safe, we can't do our best. Because then we're always on the defense because we're trying to protect ourselves. And that's not a very healthy state of mind to be in. So as parents, it's very important to know what it is that the school does and what is it that the school believes in, and how will the children be educated in this space. And if you're comfortable and you trust, you must put your children here. But if you're not comfortable and you have a question, you must ask. You mustn't be afraid to ask. As a parent, you have that right. You want to know, you don't understand what's happening, you must ask. And especially if children are going to a Montessori school, in a Montessori classroom, it's going to be very different from traditional schooling. And I'm not saying it's better or it's not better. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's different. The style is different. The approach is different. The way in which children are worked with is different. The curriculum is different. And so you need to understand that, because our entire schooling and even my schooling has been in a very traditional approach to education. And that's what we know. That's popular. So we know it, we're comfortable with it. But as parents, you must not be afraid to ask. And the teacher must not be afraid to answer. So on both sides, there cannot be fear. The teacher must answer with confidence. And as a parent, you need to listen with some trust as to what's happening. So it's very important that as parents, you begin to understand what is happening in the classroom. But on the other side, I think as teachers, you also need to trust the parents. We often as teachers, very quickly, and I know that because I've been a teacher for a very long time myself, we very quickly make a judgment about a parent, or we very quickly point a finger at the parent and say it's all the parents' fault and they don't listen and they don't do this, they don't do that. And it doesn't help. It will not help. Because if we just begin to alienate the parent, then the parent will begin to lose more and more trust. So we have to learn as teachers to work with the parent and bring the parent on board on what we want them to do. So there has to be a way for us to work. We can't alienate the parent. We are specialists in our teaching fields, and that's very important. But a parent is also very important in the child's life, and we have to learn to respect that. And many times, parents know their children in a much different way than we know the children as teachers. We know them in a different way, and parents know them in a very different way. I mean, it's true for all of us. I mean, if I was to tell you, your husband probably knows you better in a different way than your best friend. Would you agree? Yes, because you're different at home and you're slightly different with your friends, right? So children are also like that. There's a certain relationship at home, there's a certain ease, this is my home, and then there's a certain different relationship in the school, in the classroom, with the teacher, with the friends. And we have to learn to embody this whole child. into what we're trying to do for this child. So we can't be like these two animals moving in opposite directions. We have to have one goal, and the goal is simply the children. That's all the goal is. It's always going to be the children. So we need school and home to work together. We need them to collaborate together. We need the homes to create spaces at home for the children, and we need the school to create the space in school for the children. The school doesn't need to turn into the house, and the house does not need to turn into the school. It does not. The house needs to stay the house. So recreating school in the house is not the answer to anything. The home does its own work with the children. The school does its own work, but together they work for the children. And that's the goal we have to remember. Now I'm going to touch upon certain ideas with you. And I'm going to look at these ideas slightly extensively with you. And as parents and teachers, these are things we need to do with the children. And I've only put a few things up that I think are quite important as a starting base for us in our discussion, in our dialogue with each other. Now, one of the things I think is very important is that children must have opportunities to do things. And I'll talk a little bit more on what that means, but I think this is very important, that children must be allowed to do things for themselves. Otherwise, you will not get any of these aspirations that you talked about if children don't do things for themselves. So that's one thing we must touch upon. The other thing we need to be very aware of is that often in our interactions with children, the word that we say the most is don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. We often find ourselves saying don't. But we don't say what instead. Okay, don't, okay, we get it, don't do. But then do what? If don't do, then do what? So we go as far as saying no. Okay, okay, no. But then what will qualify as yes? So it's very important for us to change this way of sort of not having these sort of don't do, don't do, don't do, but what could we do instead? Because this is a big concern for us. As parents, it's a big concern. As teachers, it's a big concern because they don't listen, they don't do their work, they don't behave themselves. So what can we do instead? The other thing I want to talk to you about today is about patience and giving children enough time, and to acknowledge the fact that children cannot, absolutely cannot do things at the speed you can do them. It's physically impossible for them to do it, physically impossible. And so children need time. They need lots of time actually, lots of time. But they need this time, they need a lot of patience, they need a lot of opportunities to do things again. So they need a lot of time to do this. And when we don't give children enough time, what happens fastest with us, we get very upset. When children cannot do something in the way we expect them to do it, we get upset very fast. And we sometimes get angry. Sometimes our voice will raise a bit, we say, I told you not to do that. And then it suddenly becomes louder, and then we say, stop, stop, stop. It sort of, our pitch rises higher. And so we get upset. It's very normal, we get upset. I think it's the truth, we have to accept that. We do get upset. Sometimes we say some things that we shouldn't say, and then we feel bad about it. But we must discuss this because it's a very crucial topic for us to think about. How can we give children time? What can we do instead of getting angry with the children or upset? What can we do? Because there should be something we should do that can help us. So we'll look at that. And another favorite topic is always about discipline. I think it's paramount. You speak to any parent or you speak to any teacher, the biggest concern is about discipline. Yeah? And the biggest concern is always, how can I make the children listen? Would you agree? Yeah, it's always, how can I make them listen? Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you some very bad news. You cannot make them listen. You cannot. They can only listen if they want to listen. Like, I can't make you listen to me right now. If you want to listen, you will listen. If you don't want to listen, you will be busy doing something else, though I'm standing right here. So, sorry. Parents, I'm very sorry to break that bubble. And teachers, I'm really very sorry to burst that bubble. You cannot make them listen. You cannot make them concentrate. You cannot make them pay attention. They must want to do it on their own. And if you can get them to do it on their own, it's marvelous. Then magic will happen. But until they want to, you can try, but you won't accomplish it, and then you'll get upset about it. It's like me getting upset because I can see, some of you not paying attention is like me shouting here and throwing a tantrum, like you have to listen to me and all of you to listen to me. It's not going to work because you will listen if you're interested to listen. And if it doesn't interest you, you will tune off. And that's human nature. It's not just for children, it's human nature. You will pay attention to what interests you. So there's your answer. You can't make children do anything, but you can plant the seed for interest. That you can do. That's easy. We can do that quite comfortably. But you can't make them do anything. So we need to look at this idea, right? How do we get them to be interested? What can we do? If we can't do this, what should we be able to do? And we must also sort of look at one more idea, is that often when we work with children, Montessori says in her writing, she says, you must sit on your hands, she says. Take your hands, put them under and then sit on them. So anytime you feel you want to do something, your hand is already stuck behind, so you can't do anything. And sometimes she says, put a little belt around you and put bells on it. So the minute you get up to do something, when the bell starts doing ting, 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 oops, I better not do something right now, let's just sit down. So she gives us she's making a point. I don't think you need to wear bells in your classroom, but the idea is to not react when children do something, but more respond to children when they do something or say something. So we want to look at some of these ideas. Okay, sound good? Okay, should we look at these? All right. So let's look, somebody said quite a lot today. You want children to be independent, you said. You want them to problem solve, you said. You want them to look after the world, be of service to the world that they are part of. Yeah, many of you said that. And children can't do that if they have zero life experiences. If they have zero life experience, they cannot do any of this. Because problem solving, being kind, trying to find a way to be of service, problem solving, this comes from life experience. The more life experiences children have, the better they're going to be at all those qualities that you said. So there's your answer. What can you do? Let them have life experiences. But what does that mean? What does that mean, let them have life experiences? What does that mean in terms of life experiences? What can we do? At home, there are multiple things children can do. Multiple things that they can do. And at home, children should participate, not because they have to participate, but because they ought to participate. Because a home is run by members of the family and everyone does their share in the house. Everyone does it. You don't get paid extra to cook food for your family, do you? Does anyone pay you money to cook a meal for your family? They say, oh, well done, here's a tip, 100 rupees, good biryani. No. Oh, you made chapati, here's a tip, 10 rupees. No one gives you any of that. You wake up early in the morning, you make sure you cook a meal for the whole house. Sometimes you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You cook, you clean, you get the children dressed, you go to work. You do this selflessly for the house and for the children and everyone in the house. Because we ought to do it. This is a family, we ought to do it. Children need to experience that too. That it's a family and they also ought to participate in the family. So the family is not doing everything for them. The family and them together are going to do things in the house. Now your children cannot make the biryani for you. Please, now don't say, chalo, it's your turn to make biryani today. They cannot do that. But they can do many things in the house with you. It's as simple, you give them a little basket, put it next to the washing machine if you have one, or even if you don't have a washing machine and somebody comes to wash the clothes, doesn't matter. You put a little basket or a bucket and the children can put their dirty clothes in that bucket. It's as simple as that. Just put your dirty clothes where they belong. The clothes are washed, they get dried. Let the children take their clothes, not your clothes, they don't have to fold your clothes because it's going to be difficult for them because your shirts are larger, your pants are larger. It's difficult for them to manage. But their little t-shirt, their little shorts, their socks, their underwear, their vest, easy. Show them how to fold it and show them how to put it into their cupboard. They can easily do that at home. They can easily set up a table for dinner or a table for breakfast. It's about putting a plate, putting a cup, and just putting it on the table. They can easily do that. If you have plants at home, they can easily be watering the plants. A small little watering can, and they can water the plants in the home. So children can do many things at home. And the more the children begin to do things at home, the more your life as a parent becomes more simple. Because now they are collaborating with you. You are not doing for them, but you are doing with them in your homes. So it's very important to get children on board to do things. So you have to look at your home. You have to look at the way the home is designed, and you have to find little things that children can do. Because from doing that will come problem solving. If there's too much water put in a plant, children will realize this wasn't to be done, next time less. If they don't water the plants for 2-3 days, the plant will die and they will know, oops, I should have done something about it. And when you say service, I mean, in fact, we just came back from a conference where the whole theme was service. What does service look like for 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds? What does service look like? It's these things. Putting my clothes into the basket, folding my own clothes and putting it away in the cupboard. Maybe looking after a pet in my house, putting the food out for a cat, or putting something out for a bird in the garden. These are acts of service for the children. It's not going to be like you and I look at service. It's going to be small, small little actions that qualify as service. So children need to do that. But with this opportunity to do it, children need to make lots of choices. I can't believe you're here. So children need a lot of opportunities to make some choices. If they don't get an opportunity to choose, then they're not going to take any ownership for the work. And that is true even for us as adults. If somebody forces something on us, do you like it? Would you like it? If I said now all of you have to write a 45-minute essay on my talk, why not? Would you like it? But if I said, would you like to write a few notes after you finish? Would you be willing to do that? Some of you may say, yes, sure. Some of you may say, no, I'm not interested. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. we underestimate the power of choice. We really underestimate the power. And unfortunately, often in education of children, choice is the one thing we take away from them. We sort of take choice out and we become the ones to choose. And we choose what they should learn, what they should study, what they should do, what kind of tests they have to take, when they will eat, when they will play, who they will sit with, who they are not allowed to sit with. I mean, literally, choice is just thrown out from the 6th floor all the way out. And children never get to choose. And if children cannot choose, then they cannot make decisions growing up. Choice is fundamental in decision making. And choice is fundamental in commitment. If children can choose very early in life, they grow up being able to make more deeper commitments as adults because they have, one, practiced choice making, and two, they have seen the result of the choice that they've made. So making a choice is very important. And one of the easiest ways for us to help children make choices is by giving them options of what can be done. And in the beginning, these options need to be very limited because they can't just simply say choose anything. Like I remember my niece when she was very young, about 3, she'd say, my sister would sometimes open the fridge like that. She'd open the fridge and say, choose what you want to eat. And she'd just look at the fridge going, nothing. But the fridge is full of stuff to eat, but she'd say, nothing. And then she'd again go back to my sister and say, but I'm hungry, I want something to eat. And again my sister opened the fridge and say, choose what you want to eat. And she'd say, nothing. I mean, she was hungry, but the problem was not that she wasn't hungry. The choice was so much that she didn't really know from this entire refrigerator, what should I be eating? So sometimes even the kind of choices we give has to be within children's capacities to make a choice. It's not choose whatever you want. It can't be, let's go to the toy shop, buy whatever toy you want. It won't work. But if you go to the toy shop and prior to the toy shop you say, we're going to the toy shop, there's going to be a car, there's going to be a bicycle, and there's going to be a football. From these, you can choose any one of them to bring home. Now it's doable and it's workable. So children know these are the choices and this is what we're going to choose from. And so this is very important for children to do. And once children choose, the other thing we need to make sure is that once they choose, you have to let them stick with the choice. You must not change the choice. You must not. For example, if you've given your children a choice, tomorrow morning before you go to school, mommy is going to make scrambled egg or mommy can make a dosa. These are the 2 options for breakfast. Okay? Choose one. And the children say, I'm going to choose scrambled eggs for breakfast. Egg and toast, I'll have that. Next morning, mom wakes up, toast is made, scrambled eggs are made, and your children sit down to eat, and now they say, no, I don't want this. I want dosa. What should you do? Don't say, oh baby, okay, I'll make dosa 1 minute. No. You have to simply say, this is the breakfast. We decided it's going to be eggs and toast. This is what we're going to eat. Tomorrow, you can have the dosa. And what are they going to do if you don't give them? They won't eat it. Or what will they do? Throw a tantrum. Of course they'll throw a tantrum. It's the fastest way to get what they want. And they know that. They just have to cry. And you'll say, okay, don't cry, I'll give you dosa. Right? They know how to play us extremely well. But don't give in. Wait, say that's the breakfast today. And at the most, they will go hungry 1 day to class. Yeah, but But you've got lunch, you've got snack, you've got evening snack, you've got another snack and another snack. Till they come home, they'll be eating snack. The only meal they've missed is breakfast, and nothing will happen to them. One meal, nothing will happen. But the lesson they will learn is for life. And so that one day, just be brave and say, that's it, it's eggs for breakfast. Tomorrow you'll get dosa. You don't want the eggs? Okay, we'll pack it up. Let's take it. Either we give it to someone to eat or you eat it up, but that's it. Don't make anything else. It's done. If you consistently do this, children will consistently know how to make a choice, what to choose. And then choice will stop being impulsive. You know what's an impulsive choice? I like it, so I choose it. And then you bring it home and you tell yourself, Arey, why did I choose this sari? This wasn't the sari I wanted. I should have taken that sari. That will go better with my blouse. And I don't have a blouse. I have to buy another sari to go with this blouse. That's impulse. It's there. I like it. I choose it. But a real choice, an educated choice, is when you think about it. Do I want it? Do I need it? Is it good for me? What can I do with this? That's an educated choice. And if we want those aspirations that you spoke about for children, then we need to help children make educated choices. And it must start when they are very young, very young. And it also starts from us being consistent with that rule, holding on to the commitment that's been made for the choice. So don't give in to a tantrum. Don't do that. Even as teachers, don't give in to a tantrum. It's short-lived. It will be a way for children to test. They don't have to give in to a tantrum. Just be calm in a situation of a tantrum. Don't now start getting excited and angry and upset. Don't do that. Because the more you get upset, the more the tantrum the children will throw. So don't do that. Just try to stay calm. If you're outside somewhere and children are throwing a tantrum, just say bye-bye to your guests. Pack your children up in the car and go home. That day your evening is a short evening. You didn't get so much time to spend with your friends, but your children know that this is unacceptable behavior, and it's okay for you also to just put them in the car and let's go home. So please don't feel the need to give in always to this kind of behavior, because it's not good for the children. And we often say a lot of no, 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 no. And yes, sometimes it's not a good thing, but sometimes it's a good thing. And sometimes a no needs to be heard. And there are occasions where the no is not warranted, but then there are some occasions where the no is necessary. So a tantrum in a supermarket, a tantrum in a shop, a tantrum in a restaurant is a no. That means we need to go back home now. And we should be okay with doing that. So children need to see a possibility to do things, and children need to see the possibility for making of choices. And we must respect the choice that children make. Now the flip side of this is, if the child says, I want to eat scrambled eggs, this is the flip side. Sometimes you'll say, no, not scrambled egg. You eat dosa. It has potato, it's good for you. But the child has already told you, I want to eat scrambled egg. But now what are you doing? You're changing the choice. And you're saying, nay, I think you should eat dosa. Dosa is much healthy. There's potato in that. I'll put butter. It'll be very nice. But the child is still telling you, no, I want to eat scrambled eggs. But you're still saying again, no. And then, do you know what our best trick is? Say, if you love me, you'll eat dosa. That's the best trick in the book we have. If you love me, for mommy, you'll eat dosa. For daddy, you'll eat dosa. For a teacher will say, oh, if you love me, you will do this work. So we suddenly use the love that children have for us, and we nicely manipulate it into the choice we want. We want. So again, children get a message that they cannot choose. And that even if they choose, it's the wrong choice. And that's why somebody like my parent or someone who loves me has said, no, 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 not that. You choose this. This is better for you. So they grow up thinking I'm incapable of making a choice. And then anytime they have to choose, they will come to you. And they will say, you choose for me. You tell me. You tell me what is right. You tell me what to do. You tell me what to eat. You take them somewhere and you say, here's a menu card, order what you want. You can have rice, you can have this. They'll say, no, no, you choose for me. And then children begin to think they cannot choose anything, that they're incapable of making a choice. And we can't have that. We can't have children growing up thinking they cannot choose, that they are incapable of choosing. Because what is life if not choices? Our life is full of choices. Even the fact that you came here today is a choice you made. You could have sat home and watched Netflix. It's a Saturday. But you came here today. It's a choice. What you take from this talk and go is a choice you're going to make. It's a choice. And our life is full of these choices. We either choose to do or we choose not to do. This is all that there is in life. We do it or we don't do it. We do it, we don't do it. We do it, we don't do it. And so if our children don't get an opportunity to choose, our children don't get an opportunity to see the result of a choice, then how will they learn anything in life when it actually becomes important? Today it seems insignificant. क्या हुआ? डोसा है, scrambled egg है, उसमें क्या है? उसमें क्या होने वाला है? Right? We tell ourselves, उसमें क्या है? But it matters because every small act adds up. And it becomes this big idea in the children's head that one, I can't do anything, two, I can't choose anything for myself. And that's not the kind of generation we want. And that's not the aspiration you have for your children. You all said independence. It came out very strongly. You said independence. So try to give them opportunities for independence. Try to give them opportunities for choices. Let them take some ownership for what's going to happen. But also another thing is when children do make a choice, don't be rough with the consequence. For instance, it's cold and your child says to you, I'm not going to take a jacket and go out. And you know it's going to be cold and so the child should take a jacket and go out. But now the child says, no, I don't want the jacket. Now don't say, ठीक है, जाओ. When you get cold, तुमको पता चलेगा. Fall sick. Then you'll know. जाओ, go in the cold, suffer. That's not the point here. If the child has chosen not to take the jacket, and you are the adult, you just have to tell them, it's okay, don't wear it, but I'll just keep it in the bag. अगर ज़रूरत पड़ी तो निकाल देंगे. अगर नहीं तो नहीं निकालेंगे. So take it. But don't force them to wear it. And if they are cold, they'll ask you for it because it's in the bag and you can give it to them. And if they're fine and they're comfortable, they don't need it. And that's fine because it's a decision they've made. So don't be rough with the consequence. Don't say, yeah, suffer. You made the choice now you suffer. That's not the point with the children. They still need you to protect them in the choices, but they do need to experience the choices that they make. Now the other thing we must talk about is correcting children a lot all the time. Okay, and we do this very quickly. We correct children very fast. I mean, before the child can do anything, we're already there. I mean, we are like, I think we're Superman like that. Before even a problem can happen, we're there, problem solved, out. And sometimes the children don't even know what's happened. Like, it's just all done in a matter of seconds in front of them. So we think we're going to come in, save the situation and get out. But children need to be able to make a mistake. And it's okay. It's really okay. It's not going to be a problem. In fact, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Because if a mistake is being made while they're doing something, that means they're trying. That means they're trying. They haven't given up. That means they are making some effort to do it. So some koshish, they're making some effort to do it. So a little mistake is okay. It's not a problem. So you don't have to be worried all the time that the children will make a mistake. They will make a mistake because they don't know. And once they learn, they won't make the mistake. And that's the nature of learning anything. Once you know, you won't do that mistake. But until you know, you will continue to make some mistakes. So shielding them from error is not your role as a teacher or a parent. That's not your role. To protect them from an error. You can't do that because they will make their own mistakes along the way. What is your role is to show them what to do in order to fix an error if it's been made. Because that is the education they need. They've done it. This was a problem. Now you can guide them on what are the solutions to these problems. But again, without imposing that you have to do this. That this is the only way to solve the problem. You have to only give them ways to solve and then leave them to solve the problem. So correcting is not our work. They will make mistakes and it's very normal. Do you still make mistakes today? Or do you lead an absolute perfect life? Do you make mistakes? Yeah? Yeah. If you were trying to learn something new, do you make a mistake? Yes, of course you make a mistake. But when you've made that mistake, if someone yelled at you for making the mistake or shouted at you, how would you feel after that? Would you try it again or would you be a little nervous to try it? You'll be a little nervous to try it. Yeah, you may want to try it, but you'll be a little nervous to try it, not because of that situation, but because of what someone else may again yell at you and say. So you're not afraid of that situation, that you don't lack the courage for that work. But what you're afraid of is the humiliation that came from the error. And humiliation is very difficult to overcome. And everyone has a human dignity attached. I have a dignity of my own, you have a dignity, you have a dignity, and children have their own dignity. When you humiliate children and rob them of that dignity, it's very difficult for them to be courageous. They begin to lose courage when they are humiliated because the fastest defense is not to do it, not to try it. Just let it be someone else's problem. Because if I do it and I make a mistake, someone's going to yell and someone's going to get upset about the mistake. So the easiest thing to do is not do it. We also do that as adults. When we are afraid of the humiliation from the error, we make excuses, don't we? We say, नहीं मेरे पास time नहीं है आज. नहीं मैं बहुत busy हूँ, I can't do this. You do it. And that's not because we can't do it. It's because we're so afraid to try it. So with children, we must make sure that we are not humiliating them for errors. We're not yelling, we're not shouting because an error got made. We have to support them in how to overcome the mistake because that's going to be the education. If we yell and shout, then it will just stop them from acting. Which means we have to control our own anger. We have to control our own outrage. Because we can sort of shout very fast when children don't listen. Do you get angry when children don't listen? Let's be honest. Do you get angry? Yeah. At times. Yeah. Do you raise your voice? Yeah. Do you raise your voice? Yeah. Do you sometimes give them some punishment?
Punishment means we are not sending the PE class.
That's it. I won't send you for play outside. Punishment. Matlab what you like, I won't let you do. Yeah. So we take away things they like. Right. It's the fastest way to punish them. Like you made a mistake, So I will either yell at you, I will shout at you, or I will take away something you love the most. And sometimes it will be, you don't sit with your friend. They love this friend, this is their best friend, and so now you've taken that away. So it's actually not a very nice feeling because we take away what they love. And so we show them that we are more powerful and we have the capacity to take away anything they love. And so if they want to keep hanging on to things they love, they better listen to us. Just follow what I'm saying, you can keep the things you love. The minute you disobey me, I will just rob all this love in a second out of your hands. You don't want children growing up like that, of fear of losing something they love. Because love is very powerful. I mean, you know how important love is. If you love something, you will go all out to look after it. And if you are afraid of losing something you love, you will do anything to protect it. Whether it's in your best interest or not in your best interest, you'll still do it. Because that's the power of love. And as teachers, we have a huge power of this love with us. Because children love the teacher. They love the teacher even more than the mother in the house. Ask any mother in the house. They will tell you, आप जो बोलते हैं वही करता है, मेरी बात सुनता ही नहीं. Because they love the teacher. Right? And so they love you like that. And children love their parents. The parent just has to say something and children will do it. They love their parents. But we must not exploit love to control them. Because then it's an unhealthy love. And then the children will do the same thing when they grow up. They will use love to control other people. And the cycle just goes on and on and on. We need to break this cycle. We need them to understand that love is not about conditional behavior. That love is not whether you listen to me today, you didn't listen to me tomorrow. Love will remain forever. Your friendship will remain forever. You get to play whenever you need to go to play. But there are certain expectations from you that need to be done. So we have to find different ways rather than using love, because love is too powerful to be used in this manner. And so children need natural consequences. Like I said, if you don't eat your scrambled egg, it's gone for breakfast. Okay? This is playtime, so you need to finish up your work to go to play. And if your work extends into playtime, unfortunately, playtime is finished. Not that you will take away the playtime. The fact is, this is your work, you need to finish it. And if it extends into playtime, then you have lost your playtime because your work extended into playtime. Not because I said you can't play. If you want children to behave with each other or not make a noise in class, you have to talk to both of them and say, you two are very noisy, you're talking a lot. Why don't you talk softly, or why don't you go out for 5 minutes, finish your talking, come back. But to say you can't talk, you can't sit next to each other, it's very hard for children to follow that rule. So if you're going to give children rules to follow, it should be rules they can follow. If you tell a class of 4 and 5-year-olds, don't talk to each other, is it possible? Even here it's not possible. If I told you, all of you, don't talk to each other. Now you will get a break now in 5 minutes, don't talk to anyone. Can you do it? No. And if I'm watching you, you'll probably slyly not do it. But the minute I'll turn my back, you'll all be talking. So you cannot make rules on children, which is virtually impossible for children to follow. So if you tell a class of children, don't talk, it's impossible for them not to talk. I mean, they're human beings, they're going to talk to each other. They're children, they're going to talk to each other. So you have to be very mindful of what is the rule that you're giving them. You take a plate of food and you put all the food in the plate and you tell the children to eat it. Right? Isn't that what you do at home or anywhere? Do children put their food in their plate? Who puts the food? You put the food. right? So who decided how much they'll eat? You decided, right? Now, you didn't ask the children if they're hungry, you didn't bother, you just said, you have to eat the 2 roti, you have to eat this rice, you have to eat this piece of chicken, you have to eat this, you have to eat this salad, you have to eat this yogurt, you have to eat it. Now, they don't want to eat it. So, what are you going to do? You're going to get upset because they're not eating the food. But they didn't have a choice in the food. They didn't even get to choose how much they wanted to eat. So there is no choice for the children, and so now you've created a rule. You have to finish everything in your plate. Till then you cannot get up. But there was no choice of the food in the plate. But on the other hand, if you had kept the rice, the gravy and the salad in front of the child in a small container and said, okay, you take the rice, you take your gravy, you take your salad, but whatever you put on your own, you finish. So take a little, finish it. Add a little more, finish it. Then the rule is applicable because the child can choose what he wants to eat. But if you impose and then have a rule and then children don't follow the rule and then you get upset, is not fair to the children because they didn't have a say in this rule. It's just imposed upon them. That brings me even to homework. Do the children have a choice in how much homework they can take home? No. No choice. I've decided 5 sheets, you will do 5 sheets, and if you don't do 5 sheets, you're going to get punished for not doing 5 sheets. But the child had no choice. These are your options. You can take 2 sheets, 3 sheets, 4 sheets, 5 sheets. These are your options. From them, choose your option and take it home. Finish it, bring it back. Take your next option. Finish it, bring it back. Doable, because children feel they are in control of this choice. Which means, of course, you have to get parents on board to understand why someone took 2 pages, why someone took 5 pages. Because children should have a choice in what they want to do or not do. But I know you're all thinking, oh, what is she talking? She's really gone. How can children have a choice in homework? They should have a choice in homework. They should. Then it gives them ownership for the homework. And if someone wants more, they can take more. Who's stopping them? If someone wants a little less for that day, because maybe they had to go to their best friend's birthday party that evening. Maybe. And so today they can't take the 5 sheets, but tomorrow they'll take the 5 sheets if that's the way it is. But our children have 0 options. And so we impose rules and children cannot follow them. Not because they don't know how to follow them, because it's an unreasonable rule to set in the first place. And when the rule is unreasonable, you will get disobedience. You will get it because the rule is unreasonable. But if the rule is reasonable, if the rule can be followed and there's a choice and there's freedom, you will get discipline as a byproduct. But if it's the other way around, you will see indiscipline. You will see rules being broken because they don't know what to do. They don't have a say in the matter. So we've got to be very careful about how we are bringing discipline into our classrooms. How are we aiding this discipline into our rooms? What are we doing to foster discipline? And it will never be the same for everybody. It can never be the same. It's like saying, we're going to chop off everyone's legs to a certain height so everyone can be the same height. It's not possible. Children have different capacities, children have different abilities, children have different potentials. So it's going to be different for all of them. So as a parent, you need to work with that potential. As a teacher, you need to work with that potential. Your classroom it's not a factory where your children are manufactured goods, that everything looks the same. Your homes are not like that. Even if you have 2 children, 3 children, they will never be the same. Impossible. I mean, we are 4 of us, and I'm different, my older sister is different, my younger one's different, my brother is different. We're all different people. And thankfully, we're all different people. So you need to let children be children. They are not factory mass produced goods. So they can't all behave the same way, they can't all perform the same way. They cannot, it's impossible for them to do that. Imagine them to be little handicraft goods, you know, beautifully handmade goods. When you go to these handicraft places, these handmade goods are so beautiful, and each one is a little different from the other one. And the beauty is in how different they all are, but they're so aesthetically beautiful. Think of children like that. They're all unique. They're all crafting themselves in their own little unique way of being who they're going to be. And it's just us to just hold them, support them, make sure they can be who they're going to be. So we've got to be able to do that for the children. So if you just take back 2 things today with you, just 2 things. Give your children choices. Try small things that you are okay with, small things. Start small, just small little things that you are comfortable with. And if you can give them some things to do at home or in your classrooms, small things, just to be independent. And try to control your anger, your outburst. Just either go out of the situation or count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in your head. Or I don't know, sit on your hands, do something. And try to get your anger to come down and respond to your children. It'll go a long way in their development. It will go a long way. I can't believe you're here too. I'm seeing some faces after years, so I can't believe. All right, so if you just take a few things with you from today's talk, I think your children will make the aspiration that you have for them quite effortlessly. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening.
Focus High School.